Welcome to the first clinic at a sound education. Let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. So I'm going to start off just by, just jamming out and shredding a little bit for you guys to entertain you, alright? I'll play a little more in a little bit for you guys. I was gonna come in here with my band, and I was gonna play a bunch of songs, and I was gonna try to promote my new album, promote my last album, get you guys to buy all that. But then I came up and I checked out the room, and I thought, well, screw it, I'll leave the band, come out, and then I was gonna do have a CD of backing tracks and play all this stuff and try to impress you guys. But the point of the clinic, I guess, was to show you guys about effects pedals. So I'll go through my pedals here and show you what they sound like, and the other point is guitar tricks. So I'm going to kind of show you guys all the tricks that I've learned in the last 20-something years, or whatever it's been of playing. And so some of you guys probably are, players that have been playing for a long time, almost on a professional level. Some of you guys are just starting out. So I promise you, if you just sit here and bear with me for an hour and a half, you'll probably be able to take something home that you can use. And feel free, if there's anything I'm able to show you and that you can take from it, please do. And I'm just trying to kind of help you guys out. If there's anything you guys want to ask me as we're going along, feel free and just shout it out, A little bit about myself. Of course, my name is Kevin M. Buck. I don't know if they put it on the flyer or not. But I lived in the area. I grew up in Lyons, and then I grew up in Brookfield, and I took lessons from a bunch of different guys. One guy was a classical teacher that studied with Segovia. Another guy was a local guy named Terry Mura that taught me a lot of stuff about blues and jazz. Through the years, I pretty much do nothing in my life but play guitar non-stop since I was young. So You know, there's a lot of guys that I should probably explain, like certain guys from Pythagoras, Bach, Mozart, Paganini, Sohr, Tarrega, Andres Segovia, Django Reinhardt, all the great blues and country guitar players, jazz guitar players, certain reggae bands and reggae players, guys such as Chet Atkins and Les Paul, and the general progression from Jimi Hendrix to Ritchie Blackmore, Uli John Roth, Van Halen, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani, Randy Rhoads, Jakey Lee, Zakk Wylde, and Jason Becker, Marty Friedman. Those are guys that I was just thinking of last night. That list is probably an infinite list. The amount of influences go on and on and on. But I should state that if I can remember where I stole a specific trick from, I'll try and tell you where. If not, it's probably one of those guys, all right? So real quick, let's just go through the pedals. I'm endorsed by a company called Morley, and they're really, really cool. First, their wahs go a little wider than the Crybabies, and I went in there like maybe 10 years ago, and they modified my wah for me, and I didn't have any paperwork. I wasn't, they didn't know who the hell I was or anything. I'd go right into their office in Cary, and they helped me out, and they modified my wah for me. I thought that was the coolest thing, and then I kept in touch with a couple guys, and they were nice enough to give me an endorsement. So here's what this wah is. It's the Bad Horsey 2. It's good for, kind of like... basic wah playing. Cool pedal. Sounds good. Very good wah. Sorry about that. This thing here. I could go on and play some other wah things. Something I like to do that's really cool with the wahs, every time you bend, basically, just press the wah if you bend. Simple but effective stuff, man. Next is the whammy pedal. This pedal, I use, there's 1,000,001 settings on this. Harmonies. Do some kind of crazy stuff out of that, but what I use it for a lot of times is the harmony of an octave. One thing you'll notice with octave pedals is that if you use the higher setting, like something. So if I do, a lot of times I'll play songs where maybe the melody is and the other one's up high, so I could use this pedal to play them both. But the other setting that's used a lot with this thing is if you just set it to go an octave higher, depress the lid, goes an octave higher or 2 octaves higher. So there's a lot of little weird tricks you can do with that. Billion other things you can do. Hip-hop sounds, billion things. Next is a tuner. As far as the where does each pedal go in the chain, that's a very confusing thing. It's boggled me. It's really, really, really difficult. But the one thing you want to do is probably keep your wah first. Plug your guitar in, then your wah, then maybe your distortion, and then whatever else you have, maybe chorus and delay towards the end. Sometimes it's better to go through the effects loop. You just have to go through trial and error. A lot of times people will be like, what's the exact combination for my pedals? Well, the fact is you got to decide if you want which effect to affect which effect in the chain, if that makes any sense. So if I have, a certain pedal here, it's going to do something, but if it's not going to affect the other one. So that makes a little bit of difference, but outside of that, there is no real way or rule for it. Real quick, the flanger. Gives a basic sweep sound up and down. A lot of times I use that for rhythm sounds mostly. Chorus, I use this chorus here. There's a couple things I'll do. One is, here's my clean tone without it. Nice, clean. And with the chorus it adds a little bit of something to it. That little kind of... Sometimes I'll get it to almost give a tremolo effect in my playing. Hear that effect is the chorus pedal. Next pedal is a delay. I'll probably talk a little more about this pedal later, but it does 1,000,001 things. Basically, I hit it only once, you see. And so it slaps back, and I'll talk more about that. There's a lot of little cool... I don't get carried away with it, but you can do a lot of cool stuff like that. Next one, this is one I borrowed from downstairs. It's a synth wah, but I guess you call it an envelope filter a lot of the times. I don't do much with it, but it's kind of cool, because if I pick a little harder, it kind of will make more of an effect on there. Kind of a weird thing. Kind of maybe Shakedown Street. I don't know if you know that. Whatever. Next pedal. This is a really cool pedal I got from my brother. It's called a Mooger Fooger. I use it mainly as a phase shifter. If you listen to you know, something like kind of like a sweep. Real pretty sound to it, and it's good for distortion too. A lot of cool things that pedal will do for you as well. Last in line is the volume pedal. So yeah, it's the same thing as doing, but it frees your hand up, so you can do some stuff. Or some chords. So those are all the pedals that I'm going to discuss today. We'll get into some other stuff. So now let me get into guitar tricks. It's a long road. Let me get a drink. Some of these will be very, 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 very easy, and you can apply them to your songs and your playing and your soloing and so forth. Others will be very, very difficult, and I probably won't have enough time to explain the whole of it. But we'll just go one by one and let's do it, man. First trick, simply called a dive bomb. You need a whammy bar for it, obviously. Maybe, I guess. So, such a classic. Then you know, a lot of the times with that, it's good to try to get the string to be have tension. So sometimes a little simple. Moving on, I think a lot of you guys might know harmonics. You guys know what harmonics are, these kind of things. Certain points on the string where if you just lightly touch above the fret, most of the time above the fret, you can get those little bell-like sounds. So you hear those a lot in a lot of music. A lot of cool things. You could figure out which notes are which and create melody lines. Now, of course, that's improvisers came up with that. So you could probably do a million things like that. And of course, I'll get into a lot more of that in a second. The other thing is artificial harmonics. A lot of people have trouble with these. I know a lot of guys, they just stumble upon them on accident, you know? You're sitting there playing, like, what the hell was that, man? That was awesome. But try to remember what you did when that happens. That's kind of how I figured it out. Easy way to look at it is, if I just hit a note, there's certain points in the string where you touch it, the harmonic will come out. So you can memorize where on the string exactly for which note you can do it. But the concept is, one way you could think about getting your flesh behind the pick so that when you pick the string, you pick it with the pick and the flesh pretty much simultaneously. Maybe the flesh has to hit later, sure, but it's almost like simultaneously. It takes a little work, but you need distortion probably. Well, it's cool without if you're playing blues. A guy named Roy Buchanan way back in the day used to master those things. Like Billy Gibbons kind of has that sound to it. Roy Buchanan used to really whistle them. I remember listening to Randy Rhoads. He'd always hit a harmonic and bend it. When I was a kid, I always thought he was just, hitting the harmonic and using the bar. Which I guess is going to come up as another trick. I'm not going to go on and on because I have a bunch of other things with artificial harmonics to do in a little while. But the other thing, maybe really quick, is you hear guys. There used to be guys, I don't know, maybe a band a long time ago. There, I guess Slayer and some of these other weird heavy bands, and all these death metal bands. They used to do all these weird, do all these little squelches they call them. Well, it's just artificial harmonics on the low string. And obviously Zakk Wylde pretty much trademarked that move in your riff. But a lot of cool stuff you could do with that, and we'll talk more about it. Another thing, real simple, I'm going to try and get through this quickly, but try to help you with it. Tapping. Obviously, a lot of people probably have tapped before, but Van Halen pretty much made the sound of you can do simple stuff. I guess that's simple stuff. We just kind of tap on one note here or there. The other thing is maybe get two notes. Look at this, we'll go 5, 8, and 12. Creates an A minor arpeggio. So we'll just try to go 12, 8, 5, tapping 12, pulling off to 8, pulling off to 5. If you master that lick, that is pretty much it's the Guitar 101 tapping deal. You can try to move the right hand. Or left. Or switch. That's basic, and then maybe the other lick you would learn. So really just sit there and go till it actually sounds like cool. Simple, but just takes a little bit of time, then you can incorporate that. That to me, once I learned that, dude, I was like, I applied it to all the other scales and all the things I could do, and that one little da-da-da lick, God, I exploited the crap out of it. And then the other one is going up, 12 to 5 to 8. And then maybe just 5, 8, 12, no picking. Other thing is maybe try to use 4 notes. Maybe 15, 14, 12, 10 to the key of G. The double tap, so effective. I just tap twice. Maybe I'll go 2, 1, 2, 1. I'll go 2, 1, 2, something. 2, 1, 2, I don't know. simple, but you try to master those licks, and they can really turn into something special sometimes. I'll probably talk a little more about that too. Real simple lick. I'm kind of assuming already that everybody knows what a hammer-on is, or what a pull-off is. You guys know what that shit is, right? Sorry, I should wash my mouth here. I apologize for the children. And a slide. So hammer-ons, pull-off slides, just assume we know that. So, and a trill is when you kind of go as fast as you can. For technique's sake, try to do different trills. 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 4. Those are all the possibilities. You'll strengthen your hand. Doing that for like 5 minutes, dude, is going to help you out a lot more than sitting around hacking out that same Metallica riff for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Get you a lot quicker, a lot stronger, faster. So, I guess this is a real simple trick, but you hear it all the time, don't you? So here it is. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. You trill, and you lower the bar. I guess we call it a trill dive. Alright, I came up with this thing, right? Everyone comes up with everything. There's thought forms around that we all just, I'm the first one that ever did this, and I'm the first one that, obviously, I look around and there's a lot of stuff like that, I'll go explain some other stuff, but a thing where you could pull off forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. If I pull off some notes, say I'm in A harmonic minor, I'm going to play pull off. Well, here I'm screwed. I got to slide or do something, right? Or go to the next string. So I have to pick every third note to make that happen, or do some sort of slide. So I figured out how I could do an infinite pull off. I do it in a song called Wrath of God. It's on the first album. Let's check it out. What that is I just use the other hand, so it's all slurs. People think it looks pretty cool too when your hand's flipping around. So that's the other thing, is the whole flip hand thing. That I honestly got when I was watching the Alcatraz video with Steve Vai when he took over for Yngwie Malmsteen in a band called Alcatraz. There's a song on there, I didn't really know it at the time, but it was, I forget what it's called, but he does something like... I kind of expanded on that general technique. Same kind of thing. Kind of flip hands over. Pretty fun. Gosh, I should start going a little faster, I think. Tremolo picking. Everyone knows that. It's simple, right? Just pick the note as fast as you can. Work on that. It'll help with stuff, man, So the next thing is, well, maybe you try to use final notes. Other thing is maybe try to just get 2 notes. Simple, but you come up with a melody in your head, you're like, well, maybe it'd be cooler. Or 3. On and on and on. Simple stuff to practice, but it can really help, open something else. Harmonic dives. That's like what I said when I heard Tribute. It was kind of awesome when I heard that first time with Randy playing on it. I used to think he was doing all this kind of stuff with the whammy bar and bending it up to get those squeal sounds, but so I came up with this. It wasn't it, and then later Dimebag Darrell pretty much made that his thing, you know what I mean? So one thing with that is it's simple. You just hit a harmonic, and if you listen to how much I got there, this is a B note, E, that's a fifth. So I got about an octave and a half there that I could just hit the one harmonic and play a whole melody with one harmonic. Otherwise, it's just the basic stuff. 5, 4, 3, 2, maybe on the B string, 17. Guitar's not quite set up for it, but that's a pretty cool trick. You could mess with that if you have a bar. Alright, one thing I learned too, check this one out, this is kind of weird. I know if I hit an open string, I can touch a harmonic. So I do this thing. Where I touch the harmonic with my tongue, and then that's a thing for the ladies, I guess. You know what I'm saying? This next thing, I don't want to get into this, but it's string skipping. And what it is basically you just play something on one string, and rather than going to the next string, go like to the adjacent one, 2 higher or 3 higher. So watching Paul Gilbert, who is a great shred guitar player, blew my mind. I bought his video. I recommended Intense Rock, I believe is what it's called. He does these licks like... It's just sick stuff. And our passion... So it's just finding ways to skip over strings. I do a lot of stuff like... Simple, but just think about it. If you know where your notes are in key, which is a whole other clinic, by the way, I'm sure. But icicles? Who knows what icicles are? Who knows how to do them? You know how to do them. Do a trill. Take your flesh. Touch it lightly. Slide down the string. That's how you get that crazy stuff. We're all over different parts on the string, and this works in every. With the wide pads. Real easy, dude, to do that. Just get a trill going, and honestly, it's that easy. Just touch it and slide down.
I never heard them called icicles before, but that sounds exactly what they are.
Yeah, dude. So if there's nothing else you learned today, dude. But, so that's real simple. You're playing really... Throw it in, you know? There's a lot of these little ones like that. You kind of get you out of something, you know? This one's real easy, dude. Learned it from Master of Puppets, I think. Yeah, you just hammer the note and swell your volume knob, volume swell. So as soon as I hammer this note, I turn the knob. Real easy. Sounds like strings or something with distortion. Easy, but cool again. All right, this one's going to interest you, I think. Check this out. Here's a trill. I mean, I'm no Tony Iommi or whatever, but that's a good fast trill. I mean, if you think about it, let's go back. I can warm up and maybe get that faster. But here's the fastest trill you've ever seen in your life. Check it out. Anyone ever see a faster trill? No, I knew it. So simply, you just tap in between. So you can pretty much double your speed. Whatever, you know? So just remember that one. That one's pretty cool, man. The double trill, I guess I call it. What do I call it on here? Super trill. That's what it is. All right, here's another one that's going to shock and amaze you that you don't see very often. Ghost turn the pedal on. No, check it out. I'm going to hit the same note. Something else. All right, I'll go ahead. I'm going to try to stop me from doing too much of this, but I'm really big on understanding the synchronicity of everything in the world, you know what I mean? One thing I know is that each one of these fingers has a completely different world to it. You could almost line them up with various planets, is what they did back like a long time ago. So one thing, easy enough that I know, say I have a melody line. That sounded one way with the second finger. Remember it? First finger, third finger. If you listen real closely, it was almost like 4 different guitar players right there. So taking that into account, one, it's not just the rate and depth of your vibrato, it's maybe just the actual flesh of each fingertip varies. Just like if you played the same thing I played, it would sound completely different, even if it was the exact same timing and everything. So I learned this lick, dude, where I think I stole it from Vi or somebody watching them. If I were to just tremolo pick, say, a C note, I'll call this C. I'm tuned down, but whatever. check this out. I'm just gonna use a different finger each time. And that sounds a lot different if you listen to if I just held the one note and tremolo picked it, you know. Alright, here's another one. This is just a basic ping pong effect off of my delay pedal. A lot of times I can take the two outs and I'll go to one amp, and then the other one I'll go to another amp, and then the one delay, you hear the first note in this amp and you'll hear the other one in the other amp. But my back's a little sore, man, I was running late, you know what I mean? So we're just gonna do this in mono. But I have a song called Repent on the first album where I use this trick, and I just use the slap back, play on it maybe 8 notes for it, you know, and I just kind of walk around and I just in B minor. Well, not in some augmented scale, not in melodic, but whatever, it's all based on B minor. And then I just come up with, the song's too long for me to show you the whole thing, but has this effect on there. Kind of like a Jimmy sound that he uses with the backwards. Or however you want to play it. Go easy or shred out. That in itself is pretty cool. That's enough for the delay pedal. Alright, here's something else. Like I said before, I understood the whole meaning. I'm not going to get in the whole, you know, Pythagoras, here's your frequency, here's a sine wave, and then it splits, you know, all kinds of crazy mathematical craziness. But, you know, I realized by messing around a lot that, you know, I was basically, if I hit a note, and watching weird guys, I mean, if I just did this, Jake used to do that a lot. So I knew that if I had like Eddie Van Halen did that kind of stuff. So it's like if you got 12, 7, 5, and 4 open, then if I held the second fret, that would give me 14, you know, it'd be 12 plus 2, 7 plus 2, and 5 plus 2 gives me, what, 14, 9, 7, 6. So that means on any single note, by tapping, it's kind of like a little flick, you know, if you watch it. So by doing that, I was able to find a way to play anything. And have harmonics for every single thing that I play. If I just go 12 frets higher or 7 frets higher than what I'm playing and I tap like that, I'm able to get those notes. The thing that's interesting is that these notes, you can figure out what they are, and, you know how to use them and stuff, but they always amount to a major triad. I mean, you got your root, you know, your fifth, you got your octave, and you have a major third. So you have a lot of choices to play the same notes with fretting other notes. And it's a kind of strange, but there's a lot to that there. So that's a simple way to play everything with harmonics, then changing your tunings around and finding every pitch that way. I've tried that one too, it's not fun. Here's one that is pretty cool too, man. I call it a timbre lick, T-I-M-B-R-E, timbre. The guitar players don't use a lot of timbre because, well, we either play dirty or clean a lot with rock and stuff. So here's one where, say, I'll take a note, maybe it's in Wrath of God too off the first album. I play an A and a G sharp. No, I mean, it's probably off of a harmonic minor and A rather than A major, but whatever. These two notes, so it's an A and G sharp. So I'll play the same two notes, but rather than going like this, I find those two notes on different strings. And it adds a little something to it. Listen to that with some distortion and the wah. And it looks cool too. So the other one I got is Burn Yourself Lick. I've actually burned my flesh doing this one. What it is we're gonna almost like tremolo pick, but we're gonna slide on one string. So I go 14 to 12, 14 to 11, 14 to 9, 14 to 7. We'll just use that for now, and then I'll come back up. Sorry, I thought I said 11, whatever. But you see what I'm doing there, real slow. It's like... Come on, this friction on the steel. It's getting warmer and warmer as I keep doing it. And if I kept going, it will actually burn my finger. So if you want to talk about burning licks, dude, that's one right there, you know. The other one is, here's a really cool lick. Check this out. It goes like this. Really hard, really weird, but I like to do a lot of stuff that's polyphonic by nature, meaning like you kind of hear two things working at one time, you know? So here's one that's kind of hard but weird. It's real easy. Here, check it out. I play this. We'll do it in A minor. 10, 12, and 13. That's it. It goes like that. That's pretty easy. But then on the high E, I'm going to do this. 10, 12, 13, and 15. That's pretty easy too. I'm going to do that on the upbeats. And the other's on the down, though. So it's a 3-on-4 lick. Now it repeats. You know what I'm saying? Hear them both going. It's really hard, but if you master that lick, it gets really pretty cool by the whole effect of it. Hopefully you get what I'm talking about there. But simple other one, check it out. Enough said. Other ones like that, just a pick slide. Go, just. Sometimes you piss the drummers off doing that. So that's what that is. So you don't know how to end it. Always keep those little get yourself out of it tricks down. They're very helpful when you don't know what you're doing. All right, this one's really, really tough, man. So what I do here is, how do I explain this? Let's see. If I go 9, say I'm doing an E minor, real easy lick. And maybe I slide in. But if I raise the bar to go, and I want to hear that next note, my bar's already raised, isn't it? So those notes are now there. So I pretend I'm in one key. If I bend it up a whole step, I pretend I'm in the actual key that would be a whole step lower. So if I'm in E minor, I know it's all these notes. But if I bend up, they're all... But then I have this little up and down thing I can do with it. I'm going to try to do something that... So that's kind of really interesting, and it's very, very difficult to keep that in tune. You have to really, really listen to it. Another thing I want to talk about, we all know vibrato, but every time I go and I see the crappy bands in the clubs, and believe me, I probably played 1,000 shows within this general area of Chicago, some guys are good and they vibrato. You know what they do? Instead of vibratoing on the pitch, they sharp the pitch when they vibrato. Dude, watch for this. A lot of you guys do this too, you know? So listen to the pitch and vibrato around the center of the pitch. Like if you go like this, that's one way with the first finger going like this. Another way is also use the other fingers. More subtle to do the violin vibrato. Sideways. Yeah, like Steve Vai does this circular vibrato, kind of almost is the best of both of them. But you want to really think like why? Really control it. Some of them have real big wide. Or other them are real short and tight, you know what I mean? And make sure that, you know, some of the notes are white. Some are real wide. That's something that'll really help you sound better. Work on your vibrato. But yeah, remember that vibrato stuff, because that's something that really makes you sound several years better than, if you work on vibrato a lot of people don't get it just until they play for 10 years and then they start to sound really good. But if you really think about it, you really listen to yourself. A lot of people, they don't listen to themselves because they're scared that they're going to hear how they suck. But that's the only way to get better, you know what I mean? I don't know, some people do that, some people don't, So other simple stuff. Using the bar, the melody, maybe I'll just do a scoop like this every time. Or the opposite. It's simple if you think about it, just and then do the bar thing there. You can either do it like this, you just kind of chop at it. But watch the, muting the other strings so they don't make a lot of sounds. Obviously, that's what I was just noticing. So you can also chop it the other way. And, I'll talk about this too, is the like little fluttery, blubbery sounds you can get. I don't have it on this. Every whammy bar is completely different than every other one. But maybe if I go like this. Listen to Steve Vai, Brad Gillis, they have that real flutter after it. My other guitar has it, but it's not worth taking out for that one trick. So by maybe hitting the end with a little thing like that, it'll flutter, and you get a whole other little thing there. Simple other trick, you hear it a lot. New bands do it, but I got it basically from Randy Rhoads. Got a lot of stuff from Randy Rhoads. It's basically, this guitar I had made to do it. Each pickup has its own volume. So this is the volume for the neck pickup. Turn that down, leave the treble pickup all the way up, and that gives us the toggle switch move. Whether you're 10 chords, or whether you're just going to hit one chord. Simple, but you'll hear that a lot, so I wanted to throw that one out. The other one is a delay pedal. When you hit a delay pedal, you go, you hit a note, bow, and it goes, meow, 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 however many times you set it for. So I think, I don't know where I got this from somewhere. Let me think about it. I sort of came up with it, but I think I stole it from Jake. And then I saw, Dimebag do some shit like that, or something like that, sorry. So here, check it out, it's called Creating Your Own Delay. Obviously, you can go up or down. All right. So I know what some of you guys are saying. Well, Kevin, I don't have the 80 million pedals, and I don't have the stock USA Jackson Randy Rhoads with Seymour Duncans in them. So I'm gonna plug in a Strat. I know a lot of guys are like, well, I got myself, a $100 Squire Affinity Series or something. So let me show you a couple things you can do on your cheaper guitars as well. Let's see here. Someone tell me if that thing's falling, right? So, a couple tricks with the Strat, and I'll try to explain how you can do a lot of these other things that I talked about with Strat. One, the main trick I'm scared to do is throw the guitar up over around the left shoulder. It comes back around and you catch the bastard and you're able to do that. But watch any Yngwie Malmsteen live thing. Well, I don't know what you do with the chord yet, but watch any Yngwie thing. That's one of the coolest moves, man. The next thing is, you want have a dive bomb sound, but you're scared as hell to use a whammy bar. So here's what we do. So we want to we just pre-bend. That sounded like a dive bomb, didn't it? You just gotta get the pre-bend. So easy, just do a pre-bend, and it sounds like you're doing a dive bomb. Another one is figure out some boring. not very hard, but people, it kind of sucks, you know, it's like saying, God bless America, and everyone claps, because, you know, you got to. Or do the Star Spangled Banner, and everyone's going to think it was cool. That's playing behind your back. And the one that my wife hates, because her dad was a dentist. Slash has a hard time, too. You got to keep the hair out of your face to do that one. So, obviously, the playing with the teeth. Let's see. Oh, here's a cool one. Bend, what does it say? Bend string behind fretted note with right hand trick. So I guess that means bend string. That's what that means. So if I'm playing something like, you know, it's easy to use that trick, but oh yeah. So say I want to do those bar scoops, I can do something like this, like, behind the back. Okay, coming out too good there, but you get the idea there. The other thing is like, on that trill dive, you do a trill and you lower the bar. So if I wanted to do that on this side, and lower it, the easy way to that is I'll go below it. Say I was on, you know, my basic box that every solo used to use in E minor, and I just wanted to do this trill and lower the bar, but I don't have a bar. You know what I'll do is maybe I'll go down a whole step or something, pull the string up, and you can do that way. It sounds just like the trill dive. Obviously, I think from over the mountain or something like that, I must have did that. You can see it doing this basic trill. Bending behind the nut. So there's a lot of cool stuff. I remember probably the first bend behind the nut thing. I remember hearing that. I was like, whoa, that was awesome. I thought I was using a bar, but it was just that. So the other thing when you're doing behind the nut bends, you got like a Telly or a Dan Electro, you've got enough room there, dude, like if it's a Floyd Rose Tremolo to pull up on it. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Obviously all your old kind of blues licks. That's kind of cool. And then you could just do basic stuff where you kind of hit that thing there, and then using these string trees. I don't know. But there's one real cool trick that I saw like Jake do. You go like this, hit a harmonic. There's obviously, you know, that kind of thing. But I saw him once he did this thing, and you can do this where you bend the neck. I don't like doing this, but a lot of guitars have a thing where if you pull this part of the neck, the guitar body this way, you bend the neck this way, you can do a dive bomb too. But you know, I don't want to bust my neck off. Some guitars you could really do that on. Jakey Lee has a Charvel, and he does that trick, and what he does is he hits a harmonic, and he takes two of them here, and he bends these so the notes go up, and then he bends the neck this way while he bends those, so it's like two notes are going up and the other note's going down, and it's a really cool trick. Check it out, Bark at the Moon video or something, man. Let me switch guitars real quick, guys. The other trick, what is it? Just unplugging and plugging in, that's cool, or hitting things with it, and that kind of stuff with the cable. It could be interesting as well, man. There's alright, so if I look at a few other simple things you could do. When I'm trying to start a riff or end a riff or get out of a riff and go somewhere else, simple thing you can always do that always works. I don't know, suicide solution kind of stuff. So you just take anything and any note you want that's close to the key. Just hit a high note and slide down. That was it, right? Kind of like a glissando or something. You could try to pick everyone, like a Dick Dale or Zach. It could be to fill, or it could be to start something, or to end something. That's, I guess in a way, is a glissando. I guess glissando is a rapid movement from, you know, one note to another within the scale, but there's a lot of generic terms for it now. Something I try to do that's really hard is a diatonic glissando. If you go to a keyboard and you go, what? Those notes are just naturals, so it'd be like just C major, A, B, C, D, there's no sharps or flats. When I do that on the guitar, I'm getting all the half steps there. So I try to find a way to go like maybe, you know, playing just these notes. Not easy, but you can kind of hear it and find your way. Because the other thing is like just a spazzing out on one note. Spazzing out. I don't know, does that George Lynch or somebody does a lot of that kind of stuff, you know. The other thing is with a volume swell, you could look at like on Stratocasters especially, you can lower the volume knob with your pinky and then it's a fun move because you could do a couple other sounding things with the note than just hammering on. Another thing would be, here's a really weird thing I found, that is another thing with harmonics, man. If I go like this, like I just touch 12, where the harmonic would be, I realized I could do stuff behind that. So here's a, like, check it out, real simple. I just go like this, 8, 7, 5, open, and back. I touch 12, where the harmonic would be. A bar with it or something, and I'll push a bar against something and do that too. So that's a really cool move. I thought that was like, you know, when I was doing some of this stuff, like, I thought it was really cool until I watched this bootleg a few weeks ago, actually, of Jake E. Lee, who was playing a song called Center of Eternity. He has some sticks. I never knew how he did it. I thought he did some tapping thing, but I saw it up close on that video. That kind of bummed me out, but that's all right, man. You know, at least I still kind of missing a little gain here or something, but you can still get the idea. Something else, real simple. A lot of you guys do this stuff already, but you think about it, man. It's pretty easy. Any chord you ever learn, be it an open chord or be it a bar chord or anything. If you but what the concept is just being able to play the chords that you know, but moving them in other positions up and down the neck, and just see if they sound cool. If you're smart with chord theory, then you can figure out what number of chord they could be and what keys and so forth and so on. But like, you know, here's an E major, right? So if I just move this up 1 fret, now we get this cool F major 7 sharp 11 chord. Or any basic bar chord. If I just don't bar, you know. Any chord. Something I noticed is that if you're adding 2, then you have the first, the third, the fifth is what's in the chord. You're adding the second, so that means you have 1, 2, and 3. And if you find a way, like that'd be maybe an A, it'd be A, B, and C sharp. So I go like A, B, C sharp, and then you know it's basic. It sounds a lot different, don't it? If I just want. Oh, sorry. So just simple stuff like that. I mean, you know, C, I like to use this key. So real easy, a lot of cool chords, man. Just use the open strings. Here's the old, you know, 29. So looking at that, you can get some really cool sounding chords there. You know what I mean? So let's see. Next one is the pedal steel. Would sound better on a Strat. Check it out. If you hold like country uses a lot of pedal steels and stuff. If I took 2 notes, say I'm in E, like an E major pentatonic box here, C sharp minor is E major kind of thing. I'll hit this note. So as I hold 1 note, the other note I bend, and I do that together. This one stays, this one bends. Until you do it together. So you know, like. Mama, I'm coming home. Probably where I got that from. Another one you could do. Here's an E major chord. Take off your first finger, put it a whole step lower than where your second finger would have been, and bend it up. So if you were to do like a 1, 4, 5, and an E, you get an E major, an A major, and a B major. So it'd be like a B. And that's a real common one. That's kind of one you don't see as much. That move there, you see this all the time. Little country type of playing. Something I like to do too is I'll do that same pedal steel. Kind of sounds, you know what I mean? Something else I like to do too. Sorry, it's a little noisy, but it's got to be noisy. Quality tone. Turn your volume knob all the way down. We're gonna hit 5, 7 on the B, well 5 on the G string harmonic, 7 on the B string harmonic, and 12 on the high E harmonic. We'll do it quietly. No one hears it. Pull up bar, and turn your volume knob up as you pull up on the bar. I guess that's the elephant. I don't know. One more time. Pretty cool, right? Not too bad. Easy. Just get a couple harmonics. That's a G and F sharp, so they sound kind of weird together like that. Something that I do a lot. Like you ever go up to a piano? A lot of you younger guys maybe remember doing this. Where you go up to a piano, and you just hit it. You just kind of hit it and bang on it. Try to entertain the folks. So I used to like to do that too when I was a lot older, you know. But then so I tried to figure out how to do that on guitar, and I knew it was like maybe 4 notes that are all half steps apart. So it'd be like, you know, maybe like a D, a D sharp, a E, a F, and an F sharp, and try to hit those 5 together, or just those 4. So I'd think about that. I'd be like, well, here's a E flat, and F. If I just use those, maybe I put the D here, or put it on here, or use the old nail. And you try to get this sound where you just hit all that crap together. And you try to just make it as rancid and lame as you can. You're mad at the crowd. You just keep doing that. That's a really good thing. You call it a tone cluster, you know. Something else you can do with a Floyd Rose is if you're playing a melody and you suck at vibratoing. Well, of course you can. The bar is easy to vibrato with. Help your timing. But you can do this, man. You can go just take another string. Oh, yeah. You can always shake the string. I would do that too, maybe, like I said, behind it, but if I had a chord, just vibrato one of the notes of the chord. That's impossible. You mean you can hit a chord, you'd be like, and vibrato it, but you can't vibrato one of those 3. But you can if you go there. You know what I mean? So let's see, what's this next one I got? It's thumb. Well, I can't say what that's. Barring the thumb. All right. So another. I don't know why. Seems like looking at. I know I was doing this clinic, right? So a week or 2 ago, I started going down, started writing down all the tricks I could think of. So here's one. Probably got from J.D. Lee. You bar with your thumb. Tapping or something, but then that's, that doesn't sound the same. So if I use the thumb, I use the whole. Simple. Just remember 1 or 2 or 3 of these things, man. Apply them in your own playing, and hopefully you'll get something there, man. That you could use and stuff like that. Double stop bends, simple stuff. Call them double stops. You hit like 2 notes. So maybe hit 2 of them and be like that kind of stuff. Hearing a lot of country music, a lot of double stop bends. It's good in metal. And like when Kirk Hammett started to suck, he loved those double stops. You know what I mean? Nothing against Kirk. I love Kirk Hammett too. In fact, I'm doing a class teaching how to play like Kirk Hammett. in a couple weeks if anyone's interested to sign up for it. It's a play like Metallica. It'll be a lot of stuff to that, and also Black Sabbath and Randy Rhoads, how to play like that kind of stuff too. But I won't talk too much about that right now anyway. There's another technique called a dead thumb. That technique is you just basically you play just one note with the thumb. And so you keep it going. You get the idea there though. Hold on, let me turn this down. So you just try to keep that thumb going. It's a real simple technique. They call it the dead thumb. It's kind of more of a country thing. Speaking of country, I like to do a lot of like chicken picking. That's why some people think, you know, maybe it's a cocaine habit or something weird, but I just have these because I like to do this kind of thing. If you use these fingers, like I said, the flesh sounds one way, the plectrum sounds another way, the fingernail sounds another way. These are different than the, you know what I mean? So by doing that kind of thing, whether you're doing those kind of licks, something I tried to do is I was seeing how fast I could go, you know, that kind of thing, with like those kind of licks. And what I learned was that if I tried to go as fast as I can, down pick this and use like maybe my middle finger, just like whatever the lick is. I learned I couldn't get my pick to go down and then come back up over the string to pick down again. That was about as fast as I could do it. You know, trying to run around maybe through, you know, those kind of licks. But then I learned that if I did this though with it, and I just got lazy, I was able to go like this here and do that. And I learned how to do that just by trying to go down and up. And I went as fast as I can. Sorry, I just don't have time for the old beats, dude. That was Paganini. That's a Paganini beat. Let's move it on though, man. I'm trying to show you all these tricks because of all this stuff. Some of you guys are going to be able to take some of this stuff, and that's what it's all about, man. I just want to try and help you out. Whatever you can use, man, that's great. If you got some other tricks, you can show me too, man. Just come and tell me them, dude. I'd love to know. Simple, slide up on your low E string and back. Very simple. Let's go through some of these quick ones. Use an artificial harmonic. Here's a technique that's really cool. Use artificial harmonics to get an extra octave out of your guitar. I always love playing stuff violin-wise. The guitar sounds great. I just wish I had a few more, you know, to get up higher, you know? So here's the way I do it. I know this harmonic on 24 and 5 is a high E. So if you don't have 24 frets, you can get that E note. The only problem is, how do I hit the next F and the next G and on, right? Here's how you do it, man. I said before that you could do this, right? You can just tap the harmonics out. But that's not going to work when you're up here because the string's too light and everything. So the other technique is take your index finger, hold the pick with your thumb and your middle finger, and then you can touch the harmonic with your index finger and use the pick behind it to get those harmonics. So now if I wanted to go up and get that E, F, G, A, B, high C. You see how I did that there, man? So there's a lot more notes that you could use on your guitar in that there. I could go on and on with a bunch of stories about that stuff, but I better not. Something else is Jason Becker and Marty Friedman. They came up with this new sound and stuff where I play these weird scales. You know, I do these things with the bends. So watch, if I did this, I'm in B Phrygian, if anyone knows what the hell that is. Those are the notes of B Phrygian. But I'll look at notes that aren't in the scale. These 7 work in G major or E minor, or B Phrygian. It's all the same thing. So what I'll do is I'll play a note that goes like this, or a lick. That's cool, but check out what I'll do. Hit a note that's out of key, and that fact that it's out of key, and then you bring it into key. You hear the way that sounds? Real exotic. So just find the note that's the bad note. It's like make the mistake so it sounds like the mistake for that split second. Any bad note works for that, you know? Also, Jason Becker was real cool because a lot of guys just kind of dip the bar. Or go like above, like I said. But Becker would do the stuff where he'd go like, good long bend. And that was something that, you know, if you ever listen to Jason Becker, he just does all kinds of stuff. He died of, or he's dying of Lou Gehrig's disease, and was a really big influence, a really great guy, and did everything great. And you know how things work sometimes with the world, whatever. So, super arpeggio, for you guys that know a lot about guitar playing. Here, it's an E minor 7. E minor 7, works for E minor. You guys might play like that, so it'll work for us like that too. What it is, it's in E Dorian or E minor. It kind of works around that tonality. You play a minor triad, then you go up to the 3rd of that triad, and you play a major triad. Then you go on the 3rd of that, and you play a minor. Because here it's minor, major, minor, major, minor, major, built on the 3rd of each one. Slowly. Major looks like this here. Minor, and then major, then minor. I don't know how that works. Pretty cool sounding thing. I call it the super arpeggio. Tapping arpeggios with right hand while doing a mode with the left. This is something that is pretty much very related to me and my guitar playing. I don't see a lot of people doing this stuff, but try it. Not that easy, but it's fun. If I play a G major scale with one hand, it's like that. I could maybe descend it. That's great. Great. What I do is, I look at G major. I know that G major must work over G major or G major. And I know, of course, it's all the G major guitar notes, but whatever. I do this, basically. G major, you know, large G major, you know, 5-string chord. Easy. So what I do is I go up the 5-string chord with my right hand, down to 6-string. Breathe. While I do this. We're going to do an arpeggio and a mode at the same time. A bunch of those I do. Maybe another one in A. I'll do the mode here. A mixed lydian. Here's another one like that. If I went in a pentatonic box, I'll go A minor, minor arpeggio. A minor pentatonic, together. Or I could just go like maybe A minor and G. Stuff like that, dude. Check it out. Think about just the concept. See if you could kind of go anywhere with that. It would be pretty cool. Something else is real easy. I came up with I do a lot of licks like this. I'm going to teach you how to play fast, really quick. Simple stuff, not make it complicated. Take 3 notes, 5, 7, and 8 on the high E. Play those guys over and over. See if you can move it. And maybe try 2 strings. 5, 7, 8. And then, work just those licks. And there's this other one, Paul Gilbert, I know. Maybe that, a 6. We'll do that a little. That's how you shred, dude, so remember that. 5, 7, 8, you got it? No shit. So the point is that a lot of these 6-note things, dude, I would always come up with something in 6 notes that works. Then I could move it to all the other shapes, or do the strings like the lick. So I came up with this one, right? It goes like this. So I gotta hear it before it sounds good when I play it. So I do that, and then I'm like, let's do it in a pentatonic box. Well, and I'm like, let's do this old stretch minor arpeggio, or a B minor arpeggio. I did the same pattern. The pattern was this. And I did it with a pentatonic. So then I do it with this. Sorry, it's just gonna come out in a couple weeks. I'll do it like that. But what I do is the trick here is that whatever cool thing you come up with, you see it a lot. You can just move it down 1 fret at a time. Tell the bass guy, go down 1 fret at a time. You hear that stuff all the time. So, but then it got so hard when I was here, I was going like this. That was too hard, so I decided to go this way. That's the song, dude. It's pretty easy. But that lick is kind of strange. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Weird counting, but whatever. The point there is whatever cool thing you're doing, even if you're Dave Mustaine, you can move 1 fret at a time, alright? Where am I at on the sheet? This one's weird and easy. Just take bend the crap out. I'm trying to find the notes. I can't. Way up. You know what I mean? You could really bend your strings if you're not trying to be Stevie Ray Vaughan with, playing 12s and stuff. Throw an 8 up on here, man. Uli and Ingve, they use 8s up on here. I tune down a half step. That's why things are loosey-goosey. I can just bend the crap out of them, man. I can bend a 5th and stuff, So a lot of times what I'll do is a lot of chords. Where I'll use 2 hands for the chord, and then I can use this fingernail if it doesn't break off, when it's around. And there's a lot of chords where I could find a chord. I just do that. Simple, but try and figure it out. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. This one, I gotta try to explain this stuff a little quicker. So here it is. It's a G major scale. However you play that. But check this out. I know that I learned this from looking at a lot of mandolin stuff, and it's really cool because you get a lot of different effects. If I played G, F sharp, E, whenever I have an open string that coordinates with the note, then here I have a B. So whenever the open note can work, I'll use it. between every two notes there. That can get, here's a C major scale. Just that technique, if you think about it, you can really do a lot of stuff with that technique. Also, if you think about this scale, we use this one a lot, don't we, in rock and blues and stuff. So with that scale, what I've learned to do is find all those notes. They work. G, E, D, B, A, G. I'm walking down the pentatonic. E, D, B, A, G. However I want to find that G. I mean, I don't want to mess around and do that. I'll just hit the open string. D, and there's your E, and then maybe this one here. With D here, the B, the A is open to this. And I can find all those like that. So, you know, another thing I'll do is mix the open string with the harmonics. So here's a D to E, and wherever any one of those notes are open, I'll use it. But these are harmonics, work for all those. So. Yeah, I know, you heard that somewhere, dude. I don't know where either. But, the other thing is what we call harp harmonics. It's that same technique. Hit the open string and then the harmonic on the, you know, couple strings adjacent. Here's a G6-9 chord. Works good in country. You don't know what that chord, check it out, it's the top notes of your basic bass. So if I took all those top notes, you know. So what I do is the same technique, but I have to use this weird thing. I have to do this lick with one hand. Do it on the chord and mimic where the chord is 12 frets higher. I guess I can do it like wherever, you know, where the 12-7-5 thing we did earlier. But then I came up with this chord. It was all quartian harmony. I don't know if I have time to talk about that, but here's a chordal chord. I call this the magical Lydian harp thing or something like that. I don't look at the sheets or something like that. I'll use some chorus on it. Why not? Oh no, I don't like that side. Classical guys wouldn't use the pick, they just touch the harmonic and use their thumb. So that same technique. That one's a little tricky, dude. Well, give me a call or an email or something, alright? But that, because that's a lost technique. Classical guitar players used to do that one a lot. Country guitar players that are really good used to, like Les Paul and Chet Atkins, those kind of guys used to do stuff like that. But you don't hear a lot of rock guys do it. Call them harp harmonics. Gonna do another thumb thing. We got a diminished chord here, right? Got a D diminished. I'm like, how in the hell am I gonna get this note, which works in there, you know? Well, here's how. I'm gonna take the thumb and bring it around the bend. So we can do that for a lot of different chords. This is just a simple 5-string diminished chord. Another way of doing it is crossbarring. So, like, I could crossbar. So this note will work from there, and this note will work down there, so I can still hold my 5-string diminished chord, and then just crossbar. And that's the same thing as bringing the thumb around, and we can get some extra chord voicings that way, okay? So a lot of times with crossbarring, I used to always think Jakey really did this. Because of the way his finger looks. But you could do a lot of those crossbar things like this and incorporate them with your basic, like here's a C major. Well, crossbar that. It's something you don't see used a lot, but it's pretty easy, you know what I'm saying? Here's a C major 7 chord. If I use this with a third in the, that's a great chord. But I might want the 5th in there too, because there's no G in that. So I could go around the bend with my back side of my thumb, and then we can play. Ugh. Get my pinky. Sorry, my fingernails a little long. Should have put those. But you go underneath that way. Another cool thing to do with your thumb there. Something else. Here's your pentatonic. If you play in a major pentatonic box, like, you get that kind of what do you call it? Civil War. Old American kind of vibe like that, you know? But what I learned too is that if I find these notes, look at this for a lot of stuff. There's your basic thing, got a million licks out of it, right? Well, why don't you look at this? So if I just play stuff like that, like, it sounds, you get like real Chinese sounding. And the same thing with the minor pentatonic. If I start with an A in that situation, as opposed to C, it's a minor. So maybe like. Sounds more American Indian kind of sound. So keep that in mind, because it doesn't have to be a blues rock guy when you're playing minor pentatonic. It doesn't have to be Mr. country guy when you're playing major pentatonic. It actually has a lot of world vibe to that there. Simple. Another more simple one. Fret against the pickup. See what note that is. Use it. That one. That one. You can use those. Yep. There's nothing against that. This one's easy, dude. I learned it from Richie Blackmore, and The Audience is Listening by Steve Vai. If you've got, just take your bar. Mic it, dude. Everyone knows that, but it's cool. Don't abandon that. Like you younger guys, don't go and play the guitar. Well, that's all right. We're upset about it now, but then when you turn into great guitar players, you abandon that technique. They go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So I talked a little bit about pedal tones, where if I take a note. Real easy way to solo. You can do that with tap, you can do it, hybrid picking, all kinds of other ways. Something I will do is try to use maybe 2 notes for your pedal. Obviously, you've heard all the Bach stolen kind of licks, but they're real easy to incorporate and make them sound like they work. Pedal tone I learned from Richie Blackmore and Randy Rhoads is that you can use the open string. Randy Rhoads did it. So I learned it. Cool trick, looks good, whatever. You do that stuff all over the place. Real easy, real fun, real cool looking. Something else, feedback. If you just take a note, right? If I say I wanted an E, that's E, but if I turn it around, it's infinite. Now, if my amp was up for a lot louder, it would do that like this. Something I learned though that's really cool is the feedback notes aren't just. I used to think they respond from like God helping me out or something, but no, really what they are they're gonna be the same old notes that your harmonics were. So if I hit this note, I'm gonna hear the overtones of this. Those are my possible feedback notes basically. But I know this. Look, my A string's open. D. E, give it a second. E, G, G, B. How do I do that? Where I know what note is what when I go to get feedback. One, of course, I can say, oh, here's a D note. So I hit a D note, and go up there, and it'll be a D note. Yes, of course. It might go up even closer. It might go an extra octave or give me a fifth or something weird, right? The way I know how to get every note feedback-wise, even without fretting, is real simple. Watch. Here's an A. You don't believe me? It is an A. Just trust me. So, if it's not an A, it's going to be only one of those other ones. But all I do is just leave this string open. On an E, my E string's open, my D. You know what I mean? So remember that. You need a lot of gain, and you need to turn it way up. I don't want to kill you guys, but you can get the idea there. So a lot of times I pretend like, oh, another thing is where you are on the stage, the vibration's moving everywhere. If I just have one note, say it'd be that, I don't know, G or something. If I kind of go to other places, it'll be different notes. I'm just not turned up loud enough. But if you go to different places around from the amp and use the monitor to feedback as well as your amp, you can get a lot of stuff with that. And that's really, really pretty sounding stuff. Something real pure about controlling your feedback. Other thing, if I'm playing a riff, just use the cord to hit your chord, man. It's pretty cool. Something else you could do is take your whammy bar off and then use it as a slide. There's a little other part there. Alright, I'll get something out of that too. It'll kind of bounce up and down off of the string. Real quick, a lick you could easily do is, say I'm going to play like an A minor to G. I know it's minor and major. I used to come up with licks like this because I knew that these notes work. These notes got to work for the E, and so do the E's, right? So I but the other way I can do it is over either one of those chords. I can borrow from that. Watch this though. So I just do that. And I can do that with my other tapping wheel. So basically I'm just borrowing from the other chord. Real simple, if you can press Country guys too, if we do a pedal steel. There's a pedal steel, so if I turn my volume off, you know, you do that with the volume. I guess it'd be easier with the other volume, other pickup. But you hear that a lot in country, and it's a really cool thing. Gosh, I should probably skip that one. Here's another one. Say I got a minor 7. Another way to do harmonics, yet another way, is to use palm muting. We all know play heavy riff and palm muting, but if you think about it, your palm is flesh just like the rest of your skin is flesh. So if I could do that, I could do that. If that made any sense. I just touched where the harmonic would be and picked behind it. So certain chords, like an A minor 7, it's all on the same fret, isn't it? So I could go to 17, which is 12 plus 5, and just kind of use my palm right where the chord would be. It also works on a G6 9. So palm harmonics, I guess I call those. I don't have time to get into the whole chorus and harmony thing, but if you don't build your chords on thirds, like, and you build them on fourths, it sounds very alien with the types of chords you'll come up with, and there's a whole method of harmony. Something else real easy, you hear this a lot. Here's a power chord, right? What if I start here and undo a power chord or the power chord? No, it was. And do that all the way up. Do patterns with it. You do that with different types of intervals, obviously, and all kinds of other stuff. I like to do a lot of different patterns, but I won't talk to you too much about technique. I try not to get into like all this other crap. Sweep picking real quick, man. If you want to learn to be like, you know, super that kind of playing, real quickly. I don't have time to get into it all. But I learned that we have 3 main shapes for major. That's the same as for 3 5. I learned that Jason Becker's play. So then we need to find ways to make those things in time. To learn that technique, yes, it is just straight down, easy. Do that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So to get that, start with maybe just 2 strings and 3. And slowly work your way up to that. Here's an easy one. I like to do this a lot. Maybe like a double bend. Just grab the string by the balls here. You know, it's Jimmy and Stevie Ray. So something else you can do with that is maybe I'll grab them both and I'll bend one up. I'm going to grab the other and let that one come down. So that's a cool thing. You'll see it. It's kind of hard until you know what you're doing with it. And then it's very, very easy, and it's a fun little little lick to do. Something else I like to do is you hear pitch wheel things. So what I'll do is pre-bounce from the note. Kind of sounds like a modulation wheel or whatever, you know, the little pitch wheel on a synth or something. And so you can do that with a bar too. Oh yeah, here's a little arpeggio, right? Try it. Tap on, let's say it's a G. Tap there and come on. Sweeping and tapping together. Then add a string. Add a note. You hear that kind of computer-y sounding stuff all the time. That's kind of what's going on there. Something else, I use my left hand with the bar. I do it with harmonics. I can't do that any other way than that. For some reason, I have to use the left hand. And you can do this, and there's another one. You can tap the octaves with your right hand with 2 fingers. So here's an A. They were giants, right? That's what it is, I think. And it's really, really hard. It really sounds really cool, so that's why I wrote that one down the other night on the sheet. Use 2 fingers of the right hand on 1 string to tap. Simple stuff. So here, I'll go like this. That makes any sense. Just that, alright? Let's do a song called Secret Loser, that's where I learned that. Oh, here's one I came up with too. I'll use, I learned a lot of this stuff, like from my song, Satriani had a song called Midnight. Yeah, something like that anyway. So I kind of applied that technique. And you look at guys like, maybe Van Halen and Steve Vai, they would do that same kind of thing. Looks a little cooler, maybe mutes for you, where you don't get that here. So I got this one like that. That makes any sense. Here's another one. Use the thumb and the other finger. That's kind of interesting too. I see. So I'll do a drill. This is like Zach's thing, right? A drill.